Hello students, welcome to Legacy as Academy. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about another news coming from the northeastern state of India, that is Manipur. Now, as a good news, we are seeing that the number of violent incidents reported from the state have drastically decreased, especially after the implementation of president rule in the state. We know, and we have covered this in our previous videos as well, it was in the month of February for the 11th time Manipur is where president's rule was imposed, and the effect of this we have seen in a positive way in this particular video. We are going to discuss about this in more detail. Now, as far as Manipur is concerned, Manipur, as per the report published by the Ministry of Home Affairs, has seen a sharp decline in the cases mostly related to the civilian deaths, civilian casualties, fatalities, and also on a positive note, due to the joint action carried by Manipuri police, the Central Bureau of Investigation, as well as the paramilitary forces, we have seen a large scale increase in the drug seizure from the border areas as well as from the Imphal Valley. Also, as reported by MHA, the security forces, both again Manipuri police, Central Armed Police forces, are working tirelessly to recover thousands of weapons. Now, unfortunately, when the violence unfolded in the state of Manipur, that we know began somewhere in the month of May 2023. Since then, a large number of, basically thousands and thousands of weapons were looted from the police armories by the insurgent groups and by the rioters as such. So, as we know, Manipur is a state in the northeastern part of India, and basically, if you look at, it has a border with Myanmar, and on the India side, it borders Nagaland, Assam, and then you can see you have a short border, small border with the state of Mizoram as such. Now, we know that president rule is imposed under Article 356 of India's constitution, and basically under this particular Article 356 of constitution, whenever president rule is imposed, what actually happens is that the entire responsibility of administration and the functions of the state government is vested in the governor. Governor, as we know, is a representative of center in the state as such, and that is what President Draupadi Murmu, who is the current president of India, has stated, that as per the power conferred under Article 356 of the Constitution, all the powers vested is now will be exercisable by the governor of that state, and also declared that the powers of legislature of the state will be exercised by or under the authority of parliament. That means the executive power is now vested with the governor when the president rule is imposed, and the legislative power then goes to the Parliament of India as such. Now, we have discussed in the beginning that there has been a drastic decline in the cases, violent cases. So, several factors is what contributing to it. For example, first of all, after the imposition of president rule, we have seen a severe crackdown and a lot of counter-offensive operations, counter-insurgency operation being launched by the security forces. And in one of those operations, the Central Bureau of Investigation, with the help of police forces, were able to crack down on the cadres of a Methi outfit that is well known as Arambai Tengol. The symbol of this we can see from here. So, Arambai Tengol, basically we try to understand, is a kind of radical group, is a kind of what you can call as a militia, and its main goal is to re-establish glory of Manipur as it was in the early what you can say 16th and 17th century. So, Arambai Tengol's leader Asim Karan Singh and 4 of his associates were also arrested. Not only that, security forces also have demolished about 63 illegal bunkers in the recent days. That is after demolition of more than 500 bunkers in the last few months as well. These bunkers were largely used by the radical element and the insurgent groups to operate, to hide, and carry out nefarious activities and attacks on the different regions of the state as such. Again, if you look at the geography of the Manipur, as we know, it is an ethnically diverse state, and majorly you have 3 groups that reside here. In the valley area, it is dominated by Metis. Then in the hill areas, in the northern side, you have the domination of Naga groups, and then in the southern hills, you have the Kuki group. The recent bout of violence we have seen in Manipur has erupted due to dispute between the Kuki groups and the Methi group. Metis are non-tribals, while Kuki have been granted tribal status as per the Constitution of India. So, Metis also wanted a tribal status for themselves so that they can also get benefit from the reservation in the schools, colleges, educational institutions, as well as in the government jobs as well. And this is something that Kuki saw will further cause marginalization of their tribes, their tribal members, and they began to protest against such demand. This has led to a clash that largely converted into Methi versus Kuki clash or tribal versus non-tribal clash, and this was going on and has further intensified as the then chief minister of Manipur was not able to control the situation, and that is why then finally central government decided to impose president rule after CM resigned from his post as such. Now the drop in incident is seen in every cases. For example, out of the several thousands of deaths that we have, several hundreds of deaths actually we have recorded in last few years, only one protest related fatality has happened in last 4 months under president rule. Total 260 fatalities we have seen in last 1.5 years. Such injuries also have drastically reduced. Earlier, till president rules was imposed, about 1,776 cases of injury was reported. Now that has been brought down to just 29. Similarly, no incidents of arson or vandalism have been reported in the recent time. And overall cumulative incident of such nature, if you talk about before the president's rule imposition, 17,000 such incidents were reported. So by comparing these data before and after imposition of president's rule, you can clearly understand that it is helping Manipur to come back on the path of peace, progress and development in the future as well. And this is not something that only government is claiming. Even the local groups, insurgent groups, not insurgent group, basically we can say tribal groups and their representative such as Kuki's representative, Methi's representative, they also have accepted that president rule has led to a kind of calm in the till disturbed state of Manipur as such. However, there are certain challenges that the security forces and the government still has to face and has to basically overcome, and that is the recovery of stolen weapons. As we have discussed, many of the insurgent groups, many of the radical groups in this area have taken advantage of the situation, disturbed situation, unrestful situation, and over 6,000 weapons have been looted from the police armory. So recovery of those weapons is going to be a challenge, because first of all you need to find out that where these weapons have been transferred, whether they have where they still are in the India's border or within India's border, or many time as we know that many insurgent groups are operating from the Myanmarese border as well. So it is quite possible the weapon might have been smuggled as well. Second challenge you can also understand that many experts argue is that in the situation that Manipur has faced in last couple of years, the disturbances that have prevailed in those in that state, we have seen revival of many insurgent groups which were kind of on the we can say on the state of decline in the last few decades as such. Major such groups that have seen their revival is the UNLF, that is United National Liberation Front. Then we have PLA, People's Liberation Army, the largest group, one of the largest insurgent groups operating in the northeast and Manipur state. Then you have KYK, that is Kangli Yawul Kanbalup, and then we have PRPK, that is People's Revolutionary Party of Kanglepak. This particular group represents the interest of Methis, which is who reside in the valleys of Manipur as such. So revival of these insurgent groups is not good news if the security and the peace in the state has to be improved, and that is also where security forces are going to face certain challenges as well. Now also we have seen in the earlier part that government and the security forces have seized large volume or large amount of drugs. So other problem that security forces can face is that though they have seized the drug, the supply of drug is something that is a cause of worry here, because unfortunately if you look at the Mizoram, this is the state of Mizoram, and further north this is the state of Manipur, as we can see from here, and Manipur is having border with Myanmar as discussed before, and in the southeastern Asia, three countries are there, as you can see, Myanmar, then in south you have Thailand, and the north you have Laos, and then you have the border areas of China as well. So when you join these regions, you get a triangle that is called as Golden Triangle. Now why it is called as Golden Triangle is because this area is known for, it is infamous for one of the major drug hotspot and what you can call as drug hub of the world. So from this area, as you can see, to the entire Myanmar, because Myanmar itself is facing civil disturbances, civil rebellions and all that, there is very high possibility that these drugs can through the porous borders of India, Myanmar, can be further transferred back to Manipur. So we have to also ensure regional cooperation when we focused upon the fighting against the drug or fight against the drug as such. In conclusion, what we can understand that again, if you revise, after imposition of president rule, obviously a sense of calm has returned in the disturbed state of Manipur. But again, unless and until we resolve the final or we come across a final solution, we resolve the dispute largely between the Kukis group and the Metis group, unless and until we reduce the indifferences between these two groups, we reduce the overall discontentment within these two groups, the permanent peace is something that we might not expect here. So basically, any hope of bringing normalcy back to Manipur rests on several factors. Apart from imposition of president rule, we also have to focus on expeditiously investigating the cases where we have seen violence, we have seen the killing by different group members. So perpetrators of violence should definitely be brought to justice. Second, we have to bring closer to the people who have suffered in the last 2 and 3 years of crisis. Warring parties can be brought back to the negotiating table. For example, we have discussed largely it is a fight or struggle, we can say kind of fight between the Metis and Kukis group. So representative both these groups should be brought back to negotiating table, where they should made to understand that violence is not the solution, violence is not the way to solve their problems. They have to discuss, they have to have certain sort of dialogue as such, and for that it is essential to identify such individuals and organizations who are independent and impartial, who can be trusted by both groups, who can have a credibility in the eyes of both Kukis and Metis. So these are certain other things that we have to do moving forward, so that we can finally bring Manipur to a permanent state of peace and prosperity. That is all about this particular video. I hope you got the idea behind the topic that we have discussed. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.